Welcome to Lemoore City Council Chambers located at 429 C Street. This is the March 4th meeting. Please silence all electronic devices as a courtesy to those in attendance. Thank you. If you could please stand for the invocation given by Joseph Kootenai and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Living God, we thank you. We thank you for the opportunities you give us to come together in any forum. But tonight, Father, we ask you be with this elected leaders here, be with the manager, the council, all those in charge of making these decisions for the future of our city, Father. We love you and we thank you for watching over us. Give them the discernment, the wisdom required to make these decisions for the future, Father. In your son's name we all pray. Amen. Salute. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir.
Councilmember Brewster,
Here.
Councilmember Lyons,
Here.
Councilmember Cruz,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Gornick,
Here.
and Mayor Matthews.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Agenda approval, additions and or deletions.
I have no changes.
Thank you. We have no study session today. We'll go ahead and move on to public comment. Public comment will be in accordance with the attached policy. This time is reserved for members of the audience to address the city council on items of interest that are not on the agenda and are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the council. It is recommended that speakers limit their comments to 3 minutes each, and it is requested that no comments be made during this period on items on the agenda. The council is prohibited by law from taking any action on matters discussed that are not on the agenda. Prior to addressing the council, any handouts for council will be provided to the city clerk for distribution to the council and appropriate staff. The public will have an opportunity to comment on items on the agenda once the item has been called and the mayor opens the item to the public. Is there any public comment at this time? Go ahead. Go ahead and come up to the microphone right here and state your name and address.
Okay, my name is Ashley Brooke LaSalle. I'm not sure my address right now. Just about the flags that don't come down. That's of that one. Every night they should around the whole town, you know. And let me think of the other one I wanted. And also about it needs to have some Spanish. Somebody be able to translate. Okay, and that's all I have for this second. Okay.
Thank you.
Connie Willis, I live at 526 East Deodar Lane here in Lemoore. I'm coming here because I learned something very valuable when I was here the last time. If you see something, say something. And it meant something to me that I know a address on my street, and I don't know if I have to say it, but they had abatement issues, and now it's a couple of us in the neighborhood's issues, and so I just wanted to put it on record. I don't know if there's a form that I normally have to fill out or just call you, Marissa, but I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Like the place where you're at. All gather together.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Alex Walker, representing Rotary Club of Lemoore. I have a couple exciting updates to share with y'all tonight. First and foremost, you may have saw on Facebook that we recently opened our first little free library. This has been an incredibly exciting project. So much community support. Thank you so much to everyone who's been very supportive of this project. We have a lot of excitement. We're actually looking to expand. So if you are interested in hosting a little free library, whether it's on your private property, if you're a local business, or if there's a public property, we're looking at assessing those options with our different partnerships throughout the community. Also, I believe he landed. Our president is coming back from Guatemala. He should be back tonight, I believe, on a humanitarian mission with other incredible Rotary clubs in our great state and country. Just really emphasizing the importance of not only supporting those at home, but those abroad. And it's missions like this that help make us Rotarians and humanitarians at heart. And then the last update I have, we're not selling tickets just quite yet, but I just want to flag on everybody's radar. If you support projects like ours, such as the Little Free Library and our Guatemala trip, make sure you come to our crab feed. It's the first Saturday in November. Thank you kindly.
Alex, sorry, for people who may not be aware, can you tell them where your first free little library is?
Yes, thank you so much. That's a good point. I'm just trying to make the time. Our first little free library is at Lemoore Christian Aid and Food Pantry. It's just right outside the gate. You can't miss it. It's a beautiful blue house.
Alex, you can keep talking until that light turns red.
Any other public comment? Okay, we'll go ahead and move on to ceremonial presentations. Is there anyone here from American Red Cross? So instead of reading this proclamation, I'm just gonna say that we have made a proclamation to announcing that what is this month? March is American Red Cross month. There we go. And the proclamation was attached to the agenda, so it's in there. So we'll go ahead and move on to department and city manager reports.
Thank you. We'll start with the chief.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Two things to report out on. I'm happy to announce that we received our approval letter through DOJ yesterday regarding our CLETS line. So we can start migrating over all of our data from the county as well as Hanford. And then that puts us really one step closer. Started training one of our new dispatchers, Kristen. She graduated dispatcher school. And then we're just waiting on the backgrounds to come back for those ones that passed the initial test. Yes.
Have you had any inquiries from one of the larger municipalities? Have you had any, sorry.
It's on. Yeah, oh, now you turned it off. It's off. No, red is go. It's off. Still up.
See that button?
There you go.
Now you're cooking with fire.
You gotta pull it close. There you go.
Testing. Have we had any inquiries from other municipalities who have call centers who might want to come work for us?
Yeah, we have. In fact, one is in backgrounds with us right now.
Good.
Like there to be a little bit more,
Yeah, yeah. Well,
but we'll take them.
all right. Good.
And then this Friday at 3 p.m. will be the unveiling of the new Peace Officer Memorial out front of the old police department on the corner of Fox and Cinnamon. This project was put together by Caden Dukes in his effort to become an Eagle Scout. And so it is open to the public, and I hope you guys all can join us. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And I just had a few announcements. So one, you may have noticed that there is some activity on the old Kmart building. So you'll see that the developer has closed escrow on that property and they are starting to do demo. So they're moving forward with Tractor Supply and another fast food restaurant that will be located next to Panda Express. And then the other thing is we have some exciting news that starting the week of March 17th, the rec center is going to have extended hours. So it will be open Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. and then Saturday and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Good job. That's great. Good news.
Thank you.
Stuart was telling me that he's quite a bit.
We'll go ahead and move on to consent calendar. We have item 4-1, approval minutes, regular meeting, February 18th, 2025. 4-2, approval, amendment, and extension of memorandum of understanding of the Tulare Kings County Interagency Hazardous Materials Team. 4-3, approval, First Amendment to Joint Powers Agreement formation of South Fort Kings GSA Joint Powers Authority. 4-4, approval, second reading, ordinance 2025-01, amending Title II, Chapter 5 of the City of Lemoore Municipal Code regarding the Parks and Recreation Commission. Are there any items that council would like to pull from the consent calendar? I myself am going to pull item 4-3. Is there anything else that council would like to pull? Seeing none. Anything that a member of the public would like to pull from the consent calendar?
What are you pointing to?
It's, and if you go online and there's a, I don't have the whole
Well,
packet in front of me.
interagency means that there's multiple agencies. So in other words, it could be City of Lemoore, City of,
No, it's just
No.
an extension of an agreement.
so if
That we
something
have in
happens
place.
somewhere, everybody will help one another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mutual aid.
Yeah.
Okay, seeing none, I'll go ahead and entertain a motion to approve items 4-1, 4-2, and 4-4.
So move.
A motion by Councilmember Gornick.
Second. Third, fourth.
Who was the second?
Stewie got it.
Stuart, a second by
Stewie beat me to it.
Councilmember Lyons, Councilmember Gornick,
Hi,
Councilmember Lyons.
Yes.
Councilmember Brewster,
Yes.
Councilmember Cruz,
Yes.
and I vote yes as well. Item 4-3.
There was that diagram that said the chemical, that is chemical or something that's still there. And the standard 130, you know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't know. I'm sorry.
Why?
Mr. Gailey, I know that you're here. I have a few questions myself on this item, if you might have the answers.
Sure, I'll answer whatever questions you have.
Let me get them. My apology. I'm gonna blame it on the short chair, but. Okay. My first question is, are any of the other local GSAs, do any of those other GSAs have growers on the board?
Yeah, inside the Tulare Lake Subbasin, Tri-Counties GSA has opened up a seat for a wide area grower. So they've done that. And then to our neighbors to the east in the Kauai Subbasin, Greater Kauai GSA, opened up 2 seats to wide area growers on their board. So we are not the first to do this.
Okay. And I know that there's a grower/stakeholder committee, correct? That make recommendations to the board. Are there issues of the board, the current board not hearing those members when they make those recommendations, or?
No, the current board is very responsive to the grower committee right now. So we have a very good relationship right now between the board and the stakeholder committee.
Okay. Let's see.
I would just add that Mr. Quello, if he's still here, Frank chairs that group.
Yeah, we actually have the chairman of our stakeholder committee
Oh, okay.
sitting back
Feel
here.
free to answer any of these questions as well, sir.
I'll stand up to it, Don.
Okay, yeah.
You know, the JPA were put, I guess, you know, the state legislature put them, set the rules on them, but there's several GSA, they went in, there was a time period when you could go in for special, they call it special legislation. So you could get representation throughout the GSA. The problem with this GSA is let's say there's 71,000 acres in the GSA. If you back out the city, which is about 6,000, you got 6,500. Of those 6,500 acres, only 17,000 acres is represented on the board. We have 48,000 acres of people that are affected by SGMA, are going to be paying to implement SGMA, who have no representation on the board. So we're, so I mean, some boards have fell apart because of lack of representation. We don't want to see that happen to, it's a very difficult process to go through. It's going to be painful to everybody in the GSA. So we got a pretty good working group, but to get the people that aren't represented, the 48,000 acres, we've crafted this, the First Amendment to the GPA, which allows for 2 seats to be added to the JPA. They have to be approved by all the board members, those 2 seats. And they have to be from the area that's not represented. They can only own land in those areas. They can't own land in say Stratford ID or Empire. They can only own land in the areas that aren't represented. So
Okay.
I think it's pretty straightforward. It'll because I mean it's a very contentious issue with my committee because a lot of them, like Lemoore Canal, is over half of the district and they have no representation on the committee. So it's just kind of something to get fairness. It still leaves them a little shorthanded, obviously, but at least it gets it more in balance. So
Another question that I had is these board members would be non-elected, correct? So they would be appointed policymakers?
yeah, they would be appointed by the current board.
So you mentioned fair representation, and that currently the stakeholders are only represented by the County Board of Supervisors.
That's correct.
So my question would be, with adding 2 growers, would that then give growers an unfair advantage with 3 people on the board? I'm just asking questions.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I mean, I just look at representation. I mean, right now you have 48,000 acres not represented. So anyway, so I mean, I get, so you put 2 more on there, I guess you have potentially 4 growers. If you assume that Stratford and you would have 4 out of the 7, I guess, potentially, if you assume, that Stratford and the Empire West plus 2 from the unrepresented area. So I guess I wouldn't think that would be the case, but I just think I look at it as equal representation. It's really not quite equal because you only got 2 people representing 48,000 acres, and you got 4, I guess, if you take the city, take the county supervisor out of there, you got 4 representing about 20,000 acres. So that's how I would look at it.
And I could speak a little bit to the, having growers to hold more sway over the board as opposed to the city or the county or Stratford PUD. The way that the JPA is written is that all significant decisions require a supermajority vote, which currently is 4 out of the 5 members. So it prevents any one group from having control over the board. And with this increase of 2 board members, that will change from 4 out of 5 to 5 out of 7. So even with 2 growers, Stratford ID and Empire, so you'd have basically 4 growers, you still need 5 to pass any of the policies that are significant, such as an amendment to or a new groundwater sustainability plan, any financial transactions over $10,000. So it's pretty broad on the significant items that require the supermajority. So you still have essentially a veto power between the city, the county, and the PUD.
So.
And then, sorry.
I thought I was trying to go while you're pausing. So
Oh,
in
you're
short, your for this amendment.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
This has been a topic on the agenda for a while.
Yeah, we've been discussing it probably for 4 years.
Yeah,
We're kind
I
of
mean,
finally got
representation
it,
and how do we go about
Grower
doing
Committee
it?
formed about 2 years ago, so this has been probably top of our agenda item every meeting. So we're happy to finally get here. So I think it's a good move for.
It's one of the things
GSA.
too that, we're on probation with the state and we're trying
Trying to get off of it.
trying to get off of it, but also showing them that we're expanding the number of people that we need to have input, both geographically and otherwise. So,
Yeah, so I mean, getting buy-in from the stakeholders to, we're in the process of rewriting our groundwater sustainability plan right now. And part of that process includes creating policies that govern the groundwater usage that falls in line with the new plan. And it's one thing to write policy, but it's another thing to have buy-in from the growers and from the landowners. So if we don't have landowner support, our plan will essentially fail. So this is part of our effort to gain the trust and to get the, additional landowner support.
And I apologize for my questions. If I had been at the last few, probably GSA meetings, these probably would have been answered, so I
Yeah, no,
apologize.
Very good question. Like the buy-in's a big problem with Sigma. Okay, so it's gonna be, because there's gonna be a lot of things, metering and allocation, and it's very painful. And we probably, at the end of the day, I hope we get buy-in, we can move forward, but it's gonna be difficult at best to get it. So at least this is a step in the right direction to try to get buy-in. There's a lot of hurdles ahead of us for sure.
And, just to add a little bit more insight into this, why it's so important. There's a per acreage assessment on all of the land in our GSA. And so when you think about that amount of acres that is being assessed, really without any representation,
Yes.
it goes back to taxation without representation.
That was
So-
actually my next question was, what is the measurement of fairness? So that explains that, so I won't have to ask that question. Another question that I had, and I tried to ask this of somebody that I knew was at the hearing, but I wasn't able to get through of them. At the hearing, was there conversation about that reference not including the tribe in the involvement of the GSA? Was that something that was discussed in Sacramento?
At the last hearing for another sub-basin or?
Like in April last year?
So April last year was the Tulare Lake sub-basin. That was our sub-basins hearing. And I think there was mention of it by some of the community groups, but the reality is the tribe has been invited and has been included. And actually, we do have a representative of the tribe that attends every one of,
Member of the grower advisory.
well, we have one that's a member of the grower advisory committee, but we also have someone from them that's on our Zoom every single board meeting.
Oh, okay.
So they're participating, and then every once in a while he'll have questions and I'll respond to them, either via phone call or email. So we do have communication with the tribe.
Okay. That my next question was, yeah. Has there been any conversation about adding a tribal member to the board? A tribal representation to the board? For example, instead of two growers, maybe one grower and either an additional supervisor, or a grower and a tribal member, or a grower and Lemoore Canal.
The tribe is actually a large grower in the GSA, so they would actually qualify under the current amendment
To be one of the
seats if they
growers.
chose to apply for it.
Okay.
So
And what about Lemoore Irrigation District? You had brought them up that they are not represented.
Well, they're not a public entity because they're stock companies. So
Oh,
they're not-
gotcha.
They cannot, that's why.
yeah, so private ditch companies were excluded in the law from being a part of the initial formation of the GSAs. It had to be public agencies. So once the agencies were formed, they were allowed to amend their joint powers agreements to include others, but in the initial formation, it had to be just the public agencies.
And then my question to you, Mr. Coelho, I know that you said that you've been talking about this for 4 years. Why do you think it's taken 4 years to get to this point?
We didn't have a grower advisory committee, and the board was, I don't know, they kind of drug their feet a little bit, in my mind, to get the grower advisory committee established. So really grower advisory committee was established about less than 2 years ago. So we've been moving forward since then. So I can't say all the reasons why. I was pushing it hard. So
Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
brought it up many years ago. So.
that was all the questions that I had. Does anybody else have any other questions? No. Are there any questions or comments from the public on this item? Any online? Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else that you wanted to add?
I'll just add that, changes to this joint powers agreement do require a unanimous agreement between all the parties. So all 5 public agency boards must vote
In favor.
unanimously for this amendment. So,
Not our board per se, but
but each one.
the
So-
majority of
so the
every board.
Empire West Side, the Stratford ID actually passed it at their last board meeting. Lemoore City Council, which is you guys, Kings County the Board of Supervisors has to pass it, and the Stratford PUD. So each one of those groups has to approve this amendment for it to become effective.
Are we the second one?
You'll be the second one if you pass it tonight.
Gotcha. Okay,
Who was
Thank you.
first?
Thank you.
Stratford ID.
Yeah, I knew that. I just wanted him to say.
I'll entertain a motion if.
I'd like
there's a
to
motion.
move it and also thank both Frank and Mr. Gailey for coming tonight and explaining everything. I know it's like pushing a boulder uphill, to get some of the stuff through the process, but appreciate all your hard work and I'd like to move that we approve it.
I have a motion by Councilmember Gornick,
I'll second.
a second by Councilmember Brewster, Councilmember Gornick,
All right,
Councilmember Brewster,
Yes.
Councilmember Lyons,
Aye.
Councilmember Cruz,
Yes.
and I vote yes as well. Passes 5 in favor. We have no public hearings. We'll go ahead and move, and no new business, so we'll go ahead and move on to city council reports and requests. Councilmember Brewster.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I attended the Board of Supervisor meeting last week. That was quite a long meeting. It was a study session also about Hanford PD pulling out of major crimes. That went over great. Chief, we're not coming out of major crimes anytime soon, right? No, okay, just making sure. Also had a Lemoore Lily work day on Saturday. We went out there, got the ballpark ready to go for Marissa to throw out the first pitch on Saturday. And then something that's come up with some legislative stuff. I'm going to request for a study session on AB 1333, which is they're trying to change the self-defense laws for people. It's a sketchy one. If it gets passed the way they have it written already, it's going to be bad. So basically like a home invasion, like you're supposed to de-escalate the person before you take any type of action. Yes.
Are you wanting a study session so that we could take a position as a council?
Yes.
Okay.
So I haven't got to talk with Chief yet, but I talked with the district attorney and I'm going to try and get her involved with it so we could get more of a DA opinion on it also. So maybe the first meeting in April. I will be gone next meeting. I'll be at the CCW conference and I'll be getting more info on this assembly bill that came out of Los Angeles. So
So is there consensus to bring that for a study session item?
Yeah, only if Brewster runs the study session.
oh, well, that's fine. You'll
That
give me
sounds
a
good.
rant.
So it looks like there's consensus for that. So anything else, sir?
That's it.
Councilmember Lyons?
So this coming Saturday, March 8th, at the Valley Animal Haven, they're having their 11th anniversary event. And it's going to be from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's at 990 East D Street. They're going to have adoption specials for cats and dogs. They're going to have raffle prizes, free hot dogs, free hamburgers. Let's see what else. And what in the heck? The special presentation by Patricia Matthews and Marissa Trejo. So
Yeah, I think you didn't respond to her email saying you would be there.
yes, I did. Anyways, if you guys can, our Valley Animal Haven, it's in need of help. It's kind of an important thing. Otherwise, we have nowhere to send our unwanted pets. They get squished on the road or something like that. So if you can come out and help, donate, watch Marissa throw out the pitch. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Member Cruz?
So I don't have much, but a week ago, I want to say Mr. Jesus Casilla and city manager Marissa Trejo let me walk with them, the entire downtown. We talk to as much business owners that we can, grab a few ideas. And yeah, it was a very productive day. And then next week I will be attending the Salvation Army community.
Nice. Thank you, sir. Councilmember Gornick?
Just a couple of things. Again, thanks for the report from the GSA, gents. I'd like at some point, Marissa, if we could get the council to take a photo shot of out at Lemoore College with the new sign out by the campus for the college. And to be part of our marketing plan as far as trying to attract business and things like that. Let people know about the college. Be surprising how many people don't. And then could we get an update on that solar array that we have in front of the city hall there? And I'd like to know how many watts we're generating or wasps we're generating.
Was that it? Or is
Yes,
there more?
that's it.
Okay.
No.
You look like you were in thought. Thank you, sir. I also attended the Board of Supervisors meeting last week. It was interesting, I guess is the best way to put it. But I also want to mention that during that meeting, the Kings County Board of Supervisors received a trophy to recognize the county as the top county in Battle of the Badges donations for the blood drive. So it's a pretty big honor, I think. So I just wanted to make sure that we mentioned that here, because I know that donations here between the fire department, police department, and the community also helped make that happen. During the KCAG or Kings County Association of Governments, they talked about sustainable transportation grants that are being reviewed currently. Cities that have those grants are all of the cities in Kings County. They should be awarded in early summer. Kettleman Roundabout is still acquiring land acquisitions for that roundabout in the Kettleman area before you get to I-5. The Bush Roundabout here in town, there was I think I had a
survey,
a finger swipe thing. It says decision document. I think it might be design document. I'm not sure what that was supposed to be, so I apologize. That was submitted in February, and they're hoping that the permit should be issued, I believe, in May of this year to get that going. Maybe it was March, now that I think about it. I apologize. This Air Board CAC meeting I attended this morning. The district is on target to meet the 1997 annual PM 2.5 microgram standard, which is a standard that the Air Board is supposed to meet per CARB and EPA regulations. Just for the district is hoping to confirm the data that they are actually on target to meet that for the region. For perspective, in the 90s, the PM 2.5 measurement was an average of in the 30 micrograms per particulate matter. Sorry, it's a lot of letters. So that's a huge feat. It's like cut in half, but it's taken this long to get there. So keep that in mind. SB 253 comments are due, I believe, in March 21st. CARB is currently in litigation with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce on that one, so I believe it's kind of on hold right now. We talked about the Advanced Clean Fleets waiver. With that waiver, CARB is not enforcing due to the waiver. However, state and local fleets are not included in that waiver, so we still have to comply, as well as locomotives. When I mentioned that some municipalities still face financial impacts, making it difficult to participate in this regulation, one of the other committee members said that it would take 2.3 EV trucks to equal one regular refuse truck if you were to do a swap. So if we swapped out one refuse truck, that would be 2.3 EV refuse trucks to do the same amount of work. While cities like ours are not considered disadvantaged, we have, and we also have energy infrastructure issues and financial issues that make it difficult to attain those things. I asked if there were opportunities or incentive programs that would be available for cities like ours that are not considered disadvantaged. They said that there were, but also that those same incentives that private companies don't have to adhere to currently under the waiver, they can still apply for those incentives and be competing with us for those dollars. So that was a little bit concerning. I also talked about the potential side effect that this regulation has in reducing local control on jobs that we're able to have in our city, as well as the rates that our residents will be paying. Because we can only charge for the service and not make a profit, where private companies, their purpose is to make a profit. Let's see. And they don't have to comply due to their waiver. And when we specifically talked about the waiver in another section of the agenda, I echoed another committee member's comments on why the focus was on EV, electric vehicles, or ZEV, zero emission vehicles, instead of gradually cleaner vehicles that are more affordable and attainable, reiterating that the technology hasn't caught up yet. I was basically told that this is the only way to get us where we need to be, so the other stuff doesn't matter. My next question was why local fleets are not included in the waiver. They stated that they cannot regulate vehicles that travel in and out of the state, and that I was basically told because they have the authority to do so. So that was a little bit frustrating to hear. With LAFCO, they selected, we selected a primary public member. That member is from Hanford. His name is Shane Strawn. So he'll be on representing the board as the public member on that agency. And they also presented the preliminary budget for the fiscal year 25-26. KCAPTA, or Kings County Area Public Transportation Authority, held a public hearing for unmet transit needs. They approved the consultant services for competitive grant applications within the authority's jurisdiction. And the statement of qualifications and request for proposals for the CART maintenance facility design and build project will be released. And they approved the purchase of 2 E-Jest buses. And just a little bit of information, the transit center in Hanford is scheduled to open around October or November of this year. Last week, I attended the Witness for Fitness celebration of the 99th birthday for Miss Velma, which was very well attended. She was a pretty feisty lady who got to hear a lot of stories, which was pretty awesome. Attended the grand opening for Dee Dee's, which was very well attended, lots of community support. So thank you for everybody coming out and supporting the new business. Also, yesterday went to Generations Preschool and read to some very fun preschoolers. I have a couple other schools I'll be reading to the rest of the week, so I'm looking forward to that. I also attended the monthly Wreaths Across America meeting last night. All the cemeteries are significantly behind from where they usually are at this time as far as funding the amount of wreaths that they put out in December. It's their goal to have a wreath for every grave of veteran. And right now, Lemoore currently has 588 wreaths sponsored. 45 of those are grave specific. They still need to cover 446, which is, they're usually a lot further than that right now at this time of year. So if anybody's interested in either sponsoring a grave specific wreath for somebody that you know, or a general wreath, you can go to wreathsacrossamerica.org and sponsor a wreath there and you can specify which cemetery you would like that to go to. And I just wanted to mention that Coffee and Community is tomorrow at 8 a.m. So hopefully see a lot of you there. And that continues to grow every month. So I'm looking forward to that as well. And that's all I have. Sorry, it was a lot, but there were a lot of meetings since the last meeting, so I apologize. But I thought it was important information to share. So we'll go ahead and move on to closed session. We have item 1, Government Code Section 45957.6, conference with labor negotiator, agency designated representatives. Christina D. Smith, city attorney, and Marissa Trejo, city manager, employee organizations, Lemoore Police Officers Association, Lemoore Police Sergeants Unit. Item 2, Government Code Section 54957, Public Employee Performance Evaluation, City Manager. And with that, we'll go ahead and adjourn into closed session. Thank you.